Throughout history, some leaders have shaped their nations in incredible ways, but not always for the better. Some used their power wisely, while others ruled with fear. Today, we'll explore the story of Joseph Stalin, a man who led the Soviet Union with an iron fist for nearly 30 years. Joseph Stalin was born in 1878 in a small town in what is now Georgia, a country near Russia. His real name was Iosif Vissarionovich Djugashvili. He came from a poor family and his father was often cruel. But young Joseph was strong-willed and determined. At first, he trained to become a priest, but as he grew older, he became more interested in politics. Stalin admired leaders who wanted to change Russia. He joined a group that believed workers should take over factories and farms from the rich. But instead of peaceful change, Stalin believed in using force to get what he wanted. He robbed banks, organized protests, and even went to prison multiple times. In 1917, Russia had a huge revolution. The old ruler, called the Tsar, was overthrown, and a new group called the Bolsheviks took power. Their leader was Vladimir Lenin, and Stalin became one of his most trusted men. Stalin was clever and ruthless. He knew how to gain power, and when Lenin died in 1924, a battle for leadership began. Stalin tricked his rivals and slowly took control of the government. By the late 1920s, he became the most powerful man in the Soviet Union. But Stalin didn't want to share power. He wanted absolute control. He got rid of anyone who disagreed with him, even some of his closest allies. As leader of the Soviet Union, Stalin wanted to make the country stronger. He forced farmers to give up their land and work for the government. This was called collectivization, but it was a disaster. Farmers had less food, and millions of people starved to death. At the same time, Stalin built huge factories and strong armies. He wanted the Soviet Union to be one of the most powerful nations in the world. But Stalin ruled through fear. If anyone spoke against him, they were arrested, or worse. In the 1930s, he started a period called the Great Purge, where millions of people were sent to prison camps or executed. Teachers, scientists, generals, even ordinary workers, no one was safe. People lived in constant fear that they might be taken away in the middle of the night. In 1939, World War II began. Stalin made a secret deal with Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany. But in 1941, Hitler broke the deal and attacked the Soviet Union. Stalin was completely unprepared. Millions of Soviet soldiers died and entire cities were destroyed. But the Soviet people fought back, and in 1945 they helped defeat Nazi Germany. Stalin was now seen as a war hero, but his people were still suffering. After World War II, the Soviet Union became one of the most powerful nations on Earth. But Stalin didn't stop ruling with fear. He started the Cold War, a long period of tension between the Soviet Union and the United States. During this time, Stalin continued to arrest and kill anyone he thought was an enemy, even his own friends. In 1953, Stalin died suddenly. No one knows exactly what happened, but many believe his own men were happy to see him go. He had ruled for almost 30 years, leaving behind a country filled with both fear and power. Today, people still debate whether Stalin was a great leader or a cruel dictator. Some say he made the Soviet Union powerful. Others say he caused too much suffering. One thing is clear, Stalin's rule changed history forever. His story teaches us the dangers of too much power and the importance of freedom and justice. And that's the story of Joseph Stalin, the Iron Fist of Russia. Stay tuned as we explore more of history's most powerful and most dangerous leaders. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you.